at the stage. Welcome, everybody. My name is Fernando, God's Prepared Warrior. Thank you for joining the channel. Hopefully, you guys in YouTube land can hear me. Scott Hummer comes in with a 5x5. So does Salt Mist. Thank you for the 5x5, guys. I want you guys to know that all of TikTok is not all of TikTok, but all of our TikTok family is here, and they are listening. They've been on for about 5-10 minutes already, and thank you, Glenn, for the 5x5. Thank you guys for joining us. So who do we have over here today in YouTube? Scott Hummer, of course, my friend, is here. Glenn Anderson, my friend, is here. Salt Mist is here in the chat. Ben Hakas, what's happening, my friend? He says, Hola, Fernando from San Diego, California. Can you believe it? He is earlier than us, and he's probably still got daylight over there. It's dark here in Central Texas. Welcome, my friend. Thank you for joining the channel. I am glad you're here. Kane Corso is in the house. Welcome in, Kane. Salt Miss, my friend, she is here today. Thank you for joining me here. Cedric Davis is in the house, guys. You gotta get to know my friend Cedric. He says, "Good evening, Chaplain. I am here." Thank you, Cedric, for joining us. Let's see who else is here. Scott. Code Red Trauma. Good evening, Code Red Trauma. Thank you for joining the channel tonight. Make sure you're liking and subscribing to the channel if you haven't. Now, I'm going to say this because I know a lot of you, there's a lot of you who follow the channel and you have not subscribed. There can be several reasons for that, right? Number one, you probably haven't subscribed yet. Number two, you probably have not logged into YouTube. And so you can watch from YouTube, but you really can't chat either. So I would encourage you to set up an account and come to the channel, subscribe to it. So that way you don't miss the content that we put out every day. So you and all of you guys are like, not today, Fernando. I know. So make sure you're doing that. Glenn Anderson says, smash the like button. Yes, smash that sucker. You guys over here on TikTok, keep clicking that screen so that we can get this thrown out further into the interwebs. All right, guys, I'm excited for tonight because I have a lot to talk to you about. This is going to be a totally different live tonight because there's going to be a part of this where you guys can actually ask me questions when I talk after the news that normally we do. So we're going to look at the channel news, and then we're going to look at some news and information that is coming up for the channel, for myself, and I want to involve you guys in that and give you opportunity to be a part of some things that we're gonna be doing here pretty soon. So make sure you stay tuned, okay? And then we're gonna look at some stuff that's happening in our news, like we always do. I only have a few things to share because I think these are some important things for us to stay vigilant about, right? So if you follow my channel, you know that my tagline is "Stay vigilant, stay prepared." Because if we're vigilant, to the things that are happening, we will be prepared for anything that comes. We can't be prepared for everything, but we can be ready for anything. That's what I always say. So thank you guys for joining the channel tonight. Let's see, my thing is not moving up. I don't know why. All right. Okay. All right. So let's look at the channel news first. If you're new and you're following me, thank you for following the channel. This channel is, I know that it says God's Prepared Warrior, but this is all of our channel. And you guys are what makes this channel. And so when I talk about the channel news, I'm always praising you guys because you guys are the ones that are smashing that like button. You're subscribing to the channel. You're following me over here on TikTok. and you're sharing out the content that I post. And so I thank you for that. You guys are the ones that make this channel. So let's look at the channel news for today. So I didn't come on live last week because thank you for the heart, me guys. Because Monday we were deboning the deer that I brought home, that God provided for us. And Monday I had to, as soon as I got out of work, my best friend Joe and I had to come here and start processing that. We process our own meat here at the house, and so we did that on Monday, and I think we finished kind of close to around 10 o'clock or so, maybe a little later. But we got that finished and accomplished, and I thank you guys for not being upset at me for not being live last week. A few of you said and sent me a message saying that you missed Monday, and I did too. I want you to know that. But all of that is done, and we're going to be talking about that today. Okay, so this is 2 weeks, and because of Thanksgiving and all that kind of stuff, I lost my regular notebook, so I don't have any comparison numbers, but we will bring that back next week. So currently on YouTube, we're sitting at 947 subscribers on YouTube, and that is super cool because I figured we were going to be stuck in the low 900s for a long time, but somehow we're almost halfway there to make to 1,000. So if you guys over here on TikTok have not followed us on YouTube, I would encourage you to subscribe to the channel on YouTube, because this is where you're going to see a lot more content than you see here on TikTok. So make sure you're subscribing over there. Let me know that you subscribe, so that because I answer all of my comments, whether they're good or bad, I answer them, and I just want you to know that. So join over there if you'd like to join, if you haven't done that yet. Over in TikTok, over here, you guys are kicking it over here. We are sitting at 3,887 followers on our TikTok page, and you guys are sharing all of the content. You're liking the content, and that helps out the channel. So thank you guys. Hey, Code Red, I see you over here with all the hearts. Thank you, my brother. So make sure that you are sharing the channel over here on TikTok, because you guys are killing it. Y'all are my biggest channel. So Facebook, we're sitting at 181 followers on our God's Prepared Warrior Facebook page. Over on the groups page in Facebook, we are God's Prepared Warrior community page in the group section. We are up to 31 subscribers. Now, in that page on Facebook, I add more things in that community page because I'm using that community page as if it were a Patreon page. So I'm going to start uploading videos that are not on YouTube, that are not on TikTok, over in that community page. So if you have not subscribed to the groups page on Facebook, make sure you're doing that over there, so that way you guys can check all that out. On X, we are sitting at 1,063 followers there on X, which is pretty awesome. And over on the Instagrams, we are sitting at 1,057 followers on our Instagram page. So thank you guys for liking the channel, subscribing, following, sharing, doing all that stuff, because, you know, in reality, it is you guys who are making this channel what it is and where it is. And so I just personally want to say thank you to all of that. And I share all of your hard work every Monday at the very beginning as we start. So guys, thank you for that opportunity. Okay, so I want to move to channel news as far as things coming up. And if you have a pen and paper and you want to take some notes, I have a few things. So Bug Out Weekend 2026 is scheduled for the week of Thanksgiving. So I am opening this up if you guys want to come and camp with me next year. I will say, as of right now, right? I can't say a few things because there are things that have to happen first, right? I need a place, and so I'm hoping that I can secure a place here in Texas, somewhere in Texas. It don't matter where we can all be together, right? I mean, I can say, you know what, let's meet up at this state park and do that thing. But you really have to be on top of um, reserving your spot in that park. And it doesn't open up till you get closer to that date. So for November, I think it opens up either in July or August for the week of Thanksgiving, if I'm correct. And you have to jump on it really fast because there are a lot of people who go camping here in Texas, especially in the fall. And I always go this week because I'm off of work this week. And so I am thinking about going camping this next year on the weekend, just kind of flip flopping my trips and going camping on the weekend and probably going hunting during the beginning of the week. So I don't know, we'll see. But this is the plan. So just know that the week of Thanksgiving in 2026, we're going to do Bug Out Weekend. And so if you want to attend, shoot me an email, godspreparedwarrior@gmail.com, and let me know, Fernando, I would like to join you. Give me the information. So as the information comes out, I will submit that information to you via email, and that's going to be super fun because it's not going to be just camping. I'm going to bring together a bunch of my friends, and John is in here in the he's in the chat today. Welcome, John, to the live tonight, and I'm putting him on the spot. He doesn't know this, but I want to invite a few of my friends who will teach a class, right? Whether that's how to start a fire, whether that is, how to filter water, things like that. I want this trip to be not just a camping trip where we have fun. All of that will happen, yes, but I want us to also learn a few things as far as prepping and in the field. And so I think this would be a great opportunity. And so if you would like to teach a class with me, also send me an email at godspreparedwarrior@gmail.com. And so that way I can start coordinating all of the seminars that we are going to have and all of the leaders for those seminars and that kind of thing, while I am trying to secure a spot for us to come camp. So I am predicting, because the last count I had 7 people who said they would come. And so most of these people are from YouTube and on Facebook. I will be reaching out to them to let them know once the date comes around, see if they still want to come out. So I will also once we have the location, I will let you know how many people we can have in that same email. And just help me pray for, the best way I can think of is a landowner who will say, Fernando, you can bring your friends on my property. So I am praying for that person, and I know the Lord will lead us to that. So with that said, Bug Out Weekend is the week of Thanksgiving. I haven't chose the date yet, but hopefully it's the weekend. The week of Thanksgiving, and it's going to be super fun. So just make sure you send me an email at godspreparedwarrior@gmail.com. Salt Mist, can you add that to the chat? And Mondo, can you also add that over here on TikTok? Because I want to make sure that we're all on the same page when it comes to this, and we can get out all the information. So that's Bug Out Weekend. The next thing is God's Prepared Warrior Manual. I told you guys a while back I've started writing God's Prepared Manual. I am halfway done with manual number 1, and I have already started manual number 2, and I'm excited because they are it's coming out pretty good, I think. And so hopefully I will be done with manual number 1 by May. So in between here and May, I'm going to seek the best way to publish my manuscript so that everyone can have access to that. And so it is in the works, and it's coming out. It should be done hopefully by May and sent to the publisher so that we can get that working out and finished. The third thing is I was talking to Salt Mist the other day, and I had so like I tell you, I read all of your comments and all of your John says, so you know that I'm game. Okay, all right, good. So I read all of your comments and I answer them in the fastest way that I can. But I've had here recently a few comments that were very prayer request worthy. And so I and Salt Mist were talking about starting a God's Prepared Warrior prayer team that would meet once a month to take requests from all of our community, because we're kind of far, right? I'm located here in Texas, and you guys are in Maine, California as of today, which is super awesome. And we're spread out here in the United States. And I have seen many comments coming through that are prayer request worthy. And I totally believe that this one request that I answered, I'm not going to share it with you because it was really personal, even though she posted it out on a comment. And it really shook me to the core. And I reached out to Salt Mist and I said, hey, I want you to know what you think, because I received this comment, and number one, I want to pray for this lady, and I know she's in need. And what can we do? Currently, the best thing we can do is pray, right? You've always heard me say that in all of my content, right? Prayer is not a last-ditch effort. Oh, well, all we can do is pray. No, the Bible tells us that prayer is a weapon. And so I want to form a team, and I don't need this team to be huge. I just need a few people to say, Fernando, I want to be part of that prayer team. And I want to be in that so that we can pray together. So I am looking at this being some kind of visual meeting, right? Whether that's through Zoom, whether that's through Google Meetup, whatever that is. I haven't chosen the platform as of yet, but I would like for me and a few people to get together to look at some prayer requests, and even add a prayer request button on my website, so that we can gather all this information. We can get together and pray. It doesn't have to be long, just long enough for us to look at the content and pray together. And I think that is so important, like I said, because I was really moved by this comment that came through on one of my videos. And so if you want to be part of that, shoot me an email, godspreparedwarrior@gmail.com, and say, Fernando, I want to be part of the prayer team. And we'll get together once a month, and we will look at some stuff that has come through. Maybe it's even you having a prayer request and say, I want to pray for this thing. And then gleaming from that stuff that comes through the devotional, the stuff that comes through the blog sometimes, and even through the prayer request button that I'll add to the website. So I'm working on that, so that will be coming out soon. But shoot me an email so I can start gathering names and lists and putting everybody in their spot. Whether that's you want to go to Bug Out Weekend 2026 or you want to be part of the prayer team or both, let me know. So I want to do that. I think it's important because we need to pray for just national and global events that are happening. I think that's important. We need to pray for the covering of the community, right? Each warrior's family, each warrior's safety, each warrior's growth. I think that is just so important. And then just, you know, praying for just this whole God's prepared warrior thing that's happening, right? So if you want to be part of that, let me know. All right. All right. So let's take a look at stuff happening in the news. Thank you guys for joining me over here on TikTok. We are about to move into the stuff that's happening in the news. Now, I see this stuff and I want to share it with you because I think it's important to look at and for you to know where you can gather this information from, right? So if you follow me on YouTube, and you're on YouTube right now, if you look in the description down below on our live link here, you will see that I have put up all of these websites where I'm getting this information so that you can look at it too and kind of know where Fernando gets his info from. But at the same time, it keeps you vigilant and prayerful for the things that are happening in our world, okay? So the first one is coming from the U.S. Department of War. And it says the Pentagon provides update on Operation Southern Spear. And so SOCOM is called for second strike on a drug boat. So this publication, if you notice, if you're looking at it, it was written December the 2nd. This is kind of the latest coming to us from the Department of War, right? And I want you to know this because today I have come across videos. I haven't confirmed it yet, but I have come across videos where they're saying that ground troops are ready to go into Venezuela, okay? Now, you're going to hear that, but they're not on the ground as of yet, right? If you read this publication, it tells you that the Navy has been stationed ready to combat the drug boats that are coming across. It gives you all that information here. It shows you the video. I think you can click on that. I haven't really clicked on that yet. But it gives you all of the information of Operation was it Southern Spear. And so I want you to know that I go here to the horse's mouth to get the information. Now, when you read this, it'll also tell you what they've been up to and what they're doing. So make sure you kind of hang here. I have seen other places where the military has mobilized troops in their training, guerrilla warfare style. I've seen that news coming out too as well. So this is just something for us to keep an eye on because I truly feel like this is going to really pop off here pretty soon. And so just so that you know. Why is that important to Fran? Because, if anything happens here, guess who's going to migrate north? That's all I'm saying. So just be paying attention to that thing there. All right, so that's that one. The next one says former MAGA loyalist Marjorie Taylor Greene says Trump policies are not America first. I have been watching this because I think that she is going to run for, I think she's going to do something. She's resigned her position, but I think she's going to create a new party. I just have this feeling like that's what she's going to do. So I don't know what the ramifications are for that. But I truly feel like, because she was with President Trump all the way, and until he's kind of, switched on some things. She gives in this thing here that, he's forsaken the MAGA base, and then he is in support of crypto when he said he wasn't going to do that. And he is also tied in with the pharmaceutical industry. So those are the three things that she labels, or she talks on 60 Minutes. I don't know if you guys got to see that, but you can click the link there to watch that interview. And I think something is going to come out of this thing here. So just be watchful for that. I think this is not the last we've seen of Marjorie Taylor Greene. So just be paying attention to that thing there. The next piece of news that I found is that there is a flood warning issued for multiple rivers in western Washington. This is the Pacific Northwest, and they are about to receive a lot of rain today. It's expected to drop at least 6 inches of rain on the lowlands and double that in the mountains. So there's going to be a lot of rain falling there. And so let's keep these folks in prayer. I think that's important because Texas has been through something like this several times already with devastating losses. And so, coming out of that, because it's my state, and then being there to help and aid through the way of our ministry where I work. It was hard thing to see there as we drove through there, delivering goods for people. And so let's keep these folks in prayer. It's just still so fresh for us here in Texas. I think that's just important for us to watch and pay attention to. CBS reports that a stabbing on North Carolina commuter train draws Trump's attention amid the immigration crackdown. There was another stabbing on a commuter train in Charlotte, North Carolina, and this has drawn attention to President Trump amid the administration's crackdown on immigration. So the incident happened on Friday. 33-year-old Oscar Solozano, I guess, allegedly entered the Charlotte area transit system and got into an argument with another passenger, and he ended up stabbing this person. And so that is happening. I tell you that, guys, because we talk a lot about situational awareness on this channel and how we can never let our guard down. We have to be ready. So, if you're not packing a projectile tool, I would encourage you to do that. I do that all the time. I am always ready. So just be vigilant and be prepared, guys. I think that's important. This next one, if I can get rid of this little thingy here. Evacuation orders were issued in Japan after a powerful earthquake triggers a tsunami warning. This was a big thing today. And so let's keep those folks in prayer. It was a 7.5 earthquake struck the northern coast on Monday, triggering evacuation orders for tsunami warning on the coastline. So let's keep those folks in Japan in prayer. That's a pretty heavy thing. Thailand launches airstrikes on Cambodia as Trump's peace agreement hangs in the balance. Thailand launched this airstrike against Cambodia today, and it's a new wave of fighting that has erupted between Southeast Asia neighbors, leaving a peace plan, that President Trump was trying to do just 2 months ago in danger of collapse. So this is something to watch and pay attention to because, United States has a hand in it. And I just think it's so important for us to be watching this thing over there, right? So be praying for that situation and that God just bring peace over there. I think that's important. All right. That's all the news that I have for you today. The next thing I want to move the segment, I guess you can call the main segment, I want to talk about is my camping trip, because I know a lot of you wanted to know about that. I threw up a few pictures here and there on social media as I was on my trips, and I am still working on my camping video. And so I should be finished with that this week, promise. But I went to Inks Lake State Park here in Texas. Inks Lake is in between Burnett and Llano counties here in Texas, and it is a reservoir on the Colorado River. The Colorado River comes into Texas, and I think, if I'm correct, it's the only blue water that's here in Texas, because Corpus is kind of dirty water and that kind of thing. So, but when you look up the information on Inks Lake, it is noted because of its blue water. This is north west of Austin, near the capital of Austin. And so it wasn't too far away from the city, but still out in the boons, because there was it was far from anything. There wasn't any, like, if I even looked up, is there a Walmart near me? There was no Walmart. I think I had to drive 100 miles back to reach Walmart. So it's kind of in the middle of Texas, and there's really nothing around it. This park has 831 acres in the park, and so it is huge. It's really huge. It has a lot of nice trails that you can take. A lot of scenic views. There's a lot of we would call them mountains, but they're not really mountains if you're close to the mountains, right? In Texas, they're kind of huge hills, and you know, when you look at the hill country of Texas, to us they look like mountains because they're hard to climb. So it's a mountain. That's how I look at it anyway. So it's in the hill country. It's located in the hill country, and it was a pretty neat park. This camp hosts 200 campsites, right? You from primitive campsites to campsites for your RV. It also has campsites with electric and water. So that way, you still kind of have those amenities. I think after this camping trip for me, I'm going to move to primitive, because this trip kind of proved to me, with all of the preps that I have, that in the days that I go camping, which are 3 days, 2 nights, I'm able to sustain myself with plenty of water, and also with electricity through my solar generator, and just some solar, little things that I have to power up all of my equipment. So I think that in 27, I'm going to start moving to primitive camping. So going back to the goal of me doing this is to kind of shift and shave off some of the things that go with me. So I'm very proud of myself. If you saw my my truck video of everything that was stacked in my truck on YouTube posts, if you go back down, you'll see me standing with all the stuff, or a picture of the back of my expedition and all the stuff in it, right? If you go back to last year's camp, the whole SUV was full of stuff. And so this time I went with minimal from that last time stuff to go with me. So it is helping. This is all helping me to get ready for the last campsite, which is going to be in El Paso. dang, I can't even think of the national park here in Texas. It's huge in El Paso. You guys can throw it there in the comments. But that's the goal, because there is zero anything. And so all of this is to gear up for that trip. And so, yeah. So do you guys have questions about my camping trip? This Inks Lake also has 22 cabins on site, and the cabins are really nice. So if you saw my pictures that I posted, I was walking down. There's some pictures that I posted on the river, on the Colorado River. Now the river has receded because they stopped the dam on the lower Colorado River because they were dredging, and so the water had receded back a little bit. That's why where you see me standing, you see the ducks. That's actually supposed to be underwater, but it looks like beach, but it's not beach. Hopefully here pretty soon, when they're done with that, they should open the dam and it should all come back, because that water Big Bend. That's right, Scott Hummer. Big Bend is my last camping trip here in Texas, and then hopefully after that, my goal is to go to to national parks outside the state. So Big Bend, yes, thank you, Scott. Appreciate that. You'll see that. But as I was walking to the river, some people were in a cabin and they left, and all the curtains were still drawn and everything. And I wanted to kind of peek inside to see what it looked like inside, but I didn't get a chance to. On the way back, the people that go in and clean were in there, and it's really neat. The little cabins are really small, and I think I saw in there 2 bunk beds, and then like a full bed, and then you have your kitchenette, and I think there's a bathroom in there. So this park hosts 22 cabins on its site. And the neat thing about this park, they were celebrating their 75th anniversary the week that I was there, or that week I was there. And I heard that from the people in the gift shop. They were telling me about the 75th anniversary. So the park opened up in 1950, and they had first built a road, and then they started working on the river's edge and that kind of thing. So it kind of started off in that, and so now today it has 831 acres of land, and it's really neat. It's a really nice park. I've been there before, and from that time, which was a really long time ago, from that time till now, they have made a lot of improvements. When you come into the ranger station is brand new. It's a new facility. I think the last ranger station was like a shack. And so this is a whole new facility. The park is really, really nice. And so they've done some work at that park. So if you live in Texas, if you want to come vacation in Texas, I will tell you, you should vacation at the state parks, because they are actually doing a lot of new things in all of the parks that I've been in so far. So if you follow my channel on YouTube, you can see all of my camping videos that I've been on, and you can see all the places I've been. So I would encourage you to research the park, because there's a lot of neat information that you can glean from that. Let's see, Glenn Anderson. Charles-Mia National Park in El Paso. That's one I don't know of, so I'm going to check that out, Glenn. Thanks a lot. Scott says Big Bend. Let's see, what are you guys saying? Red hat. Red hot. Thank you, Ben. Splits. Okay, I don't know what you guys are saying. You're confusing me. Okay, good. So that was a really neat trip. It was okay. So my trip started out kind of sketchy, because that Sunday, it was raining a lot here. And so, because of that, um, I was leery on what the weather was going to be like on the trip. So, it said that it wasn't going to rain. So I counted my lucky stars, and I made provisions, right? I came prepared, right? Just because I'm not gonna, well, I gotta lay out in the rain. No, Fernando came prepared in case it did continue to rain. I was prepared to spend the night in my vehicle. So I would have had a whole different setup if that was the case. I still would have had fun. I still would have got out in the rain and done all of that because I'm just prepared that way. So I had two ways that I could camp, and my hope was to camp in my tent. So you'll see that when I'm done with the video, because everything I show you guys all the new stuff that I have. That my tent was new, and most of my stuff that I have, my kids bought me for Christmas or for Father's Day. So I encourage you, if you're prepping, and my kids are all older and they're out of the house. It's just me and my wife and our babies here. But if you're prepping, and you might say, Fernando, prepping is expensive. It is, trust me. But if you're smart, and it comes to Christmas time, it comes to Father's Day or Mother's Day, if you're a girl, utilize your kids. Mine are like, what can we get you for Christmas, and what can we get you for your birthday, and what can we get you for Father's Day? And I will say, here is my Amazon link. Here's the my wish list from Amazon, and so they can pick anything they want on that list, and I'm going to be excited because it's something that I need for camping, or for building whatever I'm building, right? A bug out bag or whatever. So do that. That's how I do it. That's how I get all my stuff. I either purchased it myself, or it was given to me as a gift from the kids. How far are you looking at to pare down your gear? So it all depends on. Well, so I have a lot more parks to visit in Texas. Texas is huge, and there's a million parks here. I can imagine. I haven't counted them all, but there's a lot. Because even on the way to Inks Lake, I came across, I think, like three or four other state parks along the way, and so I made note of them because they were on that way. And the another park that I really wanted to go to this year was a little further up north in Inks Lake, was Colorado Bend, and so I think yeah, so it's a little further than Inks Lake, and that's where I wanted to go. But Colorado Bend gets booked really fast, and if you're not on top of your booking, you'll get outbooked, and you won't get a spot, or you'll get a spot that's really kind of you know. Um, and so if you're coming to Texas, you got to do that way ahead of time. So if you're scheduling for the summer, I think right now is the time to start scheduling that if you're wanting to plan a trip to the state parks here in Texas. So um, Big Bend is a long way off because I have so many parks to visit. And each time I'm shaving down all of the things, right? So some of my videos that I did post out were on all the stoves, right? I didn't do all of them, but I gave you the majority of my new stoves on some of those videos, and you will see all of them together in the camping video. But I'm trying out all of these stoves because I eventually want to move to just two stoves that I carry with me, depending on the place, right? Depending on the location. So if I'm backpacking, then it's going to be a particular stove. If I'm camping for 3 days, it's probably going to be two stoves, a big one and then a small one for just easy things like when I'm making my coffee, because I can't go anywhere without my coffee. So to answer your question, Salt Miss, it's going to be a while. I haven't really said. I need to really sit down. Thank you for showing that, because I really need to sit down and kind of plan all of that out. So I kind of have a date, right? For this is the year that I go to Big Bend National Park. So that's the goal, because there's nothing in Big Bend. And when you go to Big Bend National Park in Texas, the website, it tells you how the night sky is full of stars. You see everything. There's no light, zero light other than the light in the sky. And so, it was neat here at Inks Lake because, yeah, there was a street light or two, not a lot, in the cul-de-sac of where I was camping. There was zero light, right? It's the main road that was behind me that went to the bathroom, that was at the playground, that went to the gift shop, where there was one light, and that was the only light. So the whole night sky, you could see all of the stars, you could see the moon in full view. I mean, it was just super awesome. So that is why I love being in the outdoors. So I just before I went live today, I uploaded some new photos on YouTube on my posts. I'm going to post them out on the other social media after this live tonight. But I posted out a few pictures from my hunting trip, and one of the pictures is the sunrise from the deer stand, and I live for those moments because I can truly see God's hand in all of that. And so, if you have not been if you live in the city or in a town, you really haven't seen the sky until you go somewhere where there's zero lights. And so, Big Bend National Park is going to be that for me. And so, not only am I shaving down a lot of things on leading up to that trip, but I'm also learning how to do things with my camera equipment, and how can I think one of the things is, how do I figure out how I can grab a time lapse, but how long do I need to record that time lapse for a segment that's maybe not even a minute. Maybe it's like 50, 60 seconds, or no, maybe 15 to 20 seconds of time lapse. I got to learn the math on that. I'm not a photographer, so I'm learning all this, and that's why Big Bend is like the big thing for me, because there's nothing out there, and you really have to be prepared to go out there. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question, Saltness. John Plato says Big Bend is my favorite. Yes, yeah, I mean it's beautiful out there. People are like, but it's desert. My wife would be like, that's boring. Uh, but it's beautiful out there. To me, it is anyway. Let's see. Scott Hummer says we did survival campouts in Boy Scouts. You get a knife, a plastic sheet, a canteen, and matches. Food was easy. I was in Hawaii. Oh, wow. That is pretty cool. I can't even imagine that. Never been to Hawaii. That's awesome. Let's see. Glenn says Texas has 16 national parks, lots of places to go. Yep, that's true. Solomon says we only have Acadia National Park, but we have North Main Woods. We have loads of campgrounds and can be as rustic as you want. Hey, that's pretty cool, Salt Mist. That gives me a look. So where you say the North Main Woods, we have lots of campgrounds. Are you saying that in the North Main Woods, there's lots of campgrounds in there? And do you pay to go in there, or is that just open to the public and anybody can go in there? Because here in Texas, there's not really anything that's open to the public where you just go in and, hey, I found this spot and I'm going to camp right here. All of the state parks in Texas, you have to pay to get in, and it can be pretty pricey depending on the campsite you're looking for. If you're going to get a primitive site, it's pretty inexpensive to get a primitive campsite. It doesn't come with electricity or water, but I mean it's a place to camp. And then it can get pricey if you get electricity and water. So I think I paid a total of $70 for the 3 days that I was camping, and I had electricity and water, but I really didn't use none of that because I brought my own water, and I use the electricity to power up my electronics. But now I have the Jackery, and so I really didn't even use the electricity maybe for about an hour or two just to replenish my Jackery, and that was it. So that's why I say that in 2027, when I go camping again, to the next state park, I'm gonna go primitive because I don't need to rely on that anymore because I have my own way. So that's pretty cool. So let me know about that, Psalmist. Glenn says Fort Davis has an I can't even say it, observatory there in Big Bend. Yes. And so my plan, Glenn, when I get to Big Bend is to be out there for a whole week because, if you guys haven't checked out Big Bend, it is huge. It is huge in the desert. And, it's on the border of Mexico and all that. And I think New Mexico, something like that. And so, and I think even the National Guard is even out there still. I don't know. I know that they were stationed out there for a while. I'm not sure if they're still there or not. But yeah, Glenn, you're right. That connects to that, and you can actually go from there to there. I found a video on YouTube of someone who camped in Big Bend, and they took the trail that takes them to Fort Davis. So that is my plan. My plan is to see. I'm actually going to map that whole thing out of where I'm going to be located, where I'm going to camp, and then all of the sites, because there's like a ton of things in there you can see. And it also has a restaurant in the park, which I thought is pretty cool. And in the restaurant, some people have stated that because the restaurant is all windows, and so you see the whole park and the whole restaurant, bears and some other wildlife have come up to the windows. So yeah, I'm excited to see that. I think that's going to be pretty cool. Let's see. Scott says, I live near Lake Worth and Eagle Mountain Lake. Most private homes, very few public access to parks. Sad. Yes. Well, guess what, Scott and Glenn? There's going to be a day that I'm going to camp near you guys. I'll let you know, so that way we go together. I think that would be fun. John says CBP is rather active down in that one or that area. I'm gonna have to check that out. Saltman says my sister and her significant purchased 123 acres that they are carving out little sites for their family camping. That's cool. See, that's what I want to do. John says you can cross the Rio Grande in a ton of spots. That's kind of sketchy, John. That might not go well for me. Oh God, I can go many ways with that, John. I'm just picking on you. Code Red says, I know where that is, Scott. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so that's the plan. So that was Inks Lake. That was pretty cool. I think it was a great park. You guys should check it out if you haven't gone there yet. Hunting, I went hunting, or I went camping Monday, Tuesday, came home Wednesday. As soon as I got home, started cooking because we were celebrating Thanksgiving on Wednesday, my wife and I and the kids. And then on Thursday, I'm going to post pictures from our Thanksgiving too as well. I'll do that tonight. Thursday, my wife and I celebrate Thanksgiving with my parents. And so we spent the day with them watching the dumb Dallas Cowboys, and they won that game. So anyway, we did that on Thursday. Friday morning, I left super early to Langtree. Langtree is on the other side of Del Rio here in Texas. It is 5-hour drive from where I live, and it was me, my best friend, and the landowner. We're all friends, and we went to his ranch on our hunting trip, and we go there every year. And so I always, the Lord always allows me to bring home meat every year for that, from that trip. I think if anything, I've gone twice every year, and so I'll get to go again this month towards the end. So that'll I'll always record that trip too. But Langtree, Texas is 5 hours away from where I am. My friend's ranch is 150 acres, and it's really far. And so when you get off the main highway, it's like 14 miles in, up the dirt and rocky road that really stinks to drive on, and you really have to drive slow or you'll bust a tire. I mean, this is Caliche Road, but Caliche Road that the rain has run off the road. I mean, there's pit holes in there's like pitfalls in it. I mean, it's nasty. So it's 14 miles from the main road to get to the ranch, and once you get past that, and you're at the ranch, you're good to go. So so that, it was a fun trip. We got there Friday in time for the evening hunt. We didn't see anything that evening. I didn't see anything come out. I usually hunt out of the same stand I have every year, and every year it has yielded me something. And so my friend Joe, he has his place where he stays or hunts out of, and then me and the landowner sometimes switch stands. So we did that the next day, and the next day in the morning. I didn't see anything that whole morning. Then in the evening we went back out, and okay, so in the evening, no, it was the evening that I didn't see anything, but that morning on Saturday, a buck came out, right? It came out. I had it in my crosshairs, and I shot it, and I hit it dead on, and it jumped 10 feet in the air, and it took off running. So I waited, right? Everybody's like, wait, don't get out, don't go looking for it yet. I waited for a little while, and I think it was maybe like 45 minutes I waited, and then I went out. didn't find it, and we found, once the guys came where I was at, we found the blood trail, and we were desperately looking for this buck because it was going to be my first buck, and so we couldn't find it. And I got like a million steps in that day because we were looking for this buck that I shot. And so all of a sudden there's a all-terrain vehicle coming down my friend's property road, and it's the neighbor. And they came down to let me know that the buck that I shot ran across their property, because the deer stand they were in was kind of behind where I was at. And so, when they heard the shot, they immediately, scoped over to where I was. They saw the deer bolt in the air and run. They said that it went down and it stayed down. And we found that spot where there was a big, puddle of blood. And so he said that from the deer stand, he saw it cross the road into their property, and then it crossed their road into another property because there's a hill behind where my stand is, and it went behind that hill. That's another 2 properties back there. And so I could not retrieve that deer because it ran. The only thing that I can guess is that maybe I wounded it in a way that, it still had function, and it ran pretty far, because most of the time if you get it really good, it will not go too far and it will just fall. That wasn't the case with this buck, so missed it. Was sad all day, and then we switched. The landowner and myself, we switched stands. That night, I didn't see anything, zero. Just saw a bunch of quail eating the corn. Um, Sunday morning was our last time to hunt, and I went back to my stand where I normally at, and it was real foggy Sunday morning. We woke up, it was foggy. We were like, this is going to be a great day because deer love to move in the fog because it kind of hides them. And so this doe came out and she was huge, so huge that it took two of us to lift her, in the truck, to lift her on the stand. I mean, she was huge, and so um, we dressed her in the field, and we quartered her out there, and we loaded her up in the truck, loaded up everything, and then we left by I think like 1 p.m. that day. I was the only one that that got anything, and it was pretty cool. God always provides. It's how I look at it. God always provides, and we thank God for what He allowed us to bring home, um, and things. It was something that says a shame about that buck. Yes, I know. I had plans for that buck. It was already in my head when I was looking at him through the scope. I was like, European mount. It's going to be on my wall, even though my wife doesn't want it on the wall. It's going to be on the wall. I don't care. My first buck. I've been doing this really a long time. I've just kind of started maybe probably back in 2014, somewhere around there. But I have enough time under my belt to take game, and I've learned through my friend how to process it in the field. So that was a really good trip, and even though it's a long time to get there, and if you saw me, I did post a picture of me driving. Well, yeah, I did take a picture while I'm driving. I'm gonna confess, and my friend and landowner were asleep in the truck, so they were literally knocked out. And that's after we stopped for a Dairy Queen ice cream cone, and that ice cream cone sent them to sleep. So I took the picture. I'm like, look at these sleepyheads. So you can see that post in the post section on YouTube. So check that out. All right, guys. Psalmist says, "It's a shame about that buck." Yes. So those were my two trips that I embarked on during the week of Thanksgiving. So I tell you that because this is what I do every Thanksgiving week. And so this next Thanksgiving, my plan is to swap those two trips. And hopefully my friend can get off the beginning of the week so we can go on our hunting trip. He's watching, so he should already start writing down your days, my friend. So that weekend we can go camping and do bug out weekend. That's the plan anyways. So I will keep everyone up to date on that information. Make sure you send me an email saying you want to go to that, or you want to be part of the prayer team that will meet to pray for people that come through our community and ask for prayer requests, because I think this is a huge thing that God is leading to do. So we want to be obedient to the Lord, and we want to follow in His leading and in the calling that He is calling us to do. See, Salt Miss says, my brother in-law has done a really nice job teaching the girls to hunt. They have both taken a deer plus bird hunting. I haven't been bird hunting yet. I don't have a shotgun for that. So, but I plan to. That's gonna be my next pickup. Ohio Valley prepping. Thank you. It's Monday already, my brother. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. So hopefully I tell you all of that because hopefully next year in that week we will be camping together at Bug Out Weekend here in Texas. So I'm already planning that. I'm praying for the place where we're going to do that. And I know that God is going to supply that for us. He's already supplying the people who are going to come and speak on those days. And we're going to go through a few trainings. We're going to learn a bunch of stuff. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to camp together. We're going to cook together. We're going to fellowship together and all of that fun stuff. And we're going to learn together. It's going to be so much fun next year in November. So keep that week open if you guys would like to join me for Bug Out Weekend here in Texas. The week of Thanksgiving, hopefully the weekend. I'm planning for the weekend because it won't be called Bug Out Weekend if it's not on the weekend, right? That's why I'm going to switch those days because I always go the first of the week camping and then I go hunting on the weekend. So I'll just flip them. So that way I can keep it true to Bug Out Weekend. Through that I've learned through our friends on YouTube, through Rural and his friends over there, Ohio Valley Prepping and Vision Preparedness and all of them. So that's what I'm planning. And you want to attend that, let me know. Send me an email at godspreparedwarrior@gmail.com so that way I can keep you in the loop of how things are progressing. I plan to, have a schedule for us on everything that we're going to do and all the people you're going to get to meet, those that are going to be sharing and teaching and doing all that kind of cool stuff. So I'm hoping to have prizes to give away that whole weekend. So yeah, be praying for that. Let's pray for that. If anything, as we plan, right, we let the Lord do all of that, right? Because I don't want to plan ahead of God. And, because God laughs at man's plans. That's what the Bible says, right? And so I just want to be in lockstep with him when it comes to this trip because it's going to be super fun and it's going to be super informative. And I'm really looking forward to that trip. So, all right, guys, thank you for stopping by. Yeah, look, Ohio Valley Prepping says, I'll kidnap Rule. I'm telling you, we had somebody in today, I hope they're still here, from California actually in the chat tonight. So, we're kind of broadening out here. And you guys over there in Ohio, y'all come down to Texas. It's going to be super fun. I'm excited about it. All right, guys, have a great night. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. And I'm excited for all of this that God is doing with the channel and, with God's Prepared Warrior Manual that I'm writing. And, hopefully that's going to be done in May and you guys will have access to that. One more thing. People have been asking for my patch. So currently I only have 3 leather patches available. But I think I'm not going to give these away because they're leather. I would rather have an embroidered patch for you guys because it'll last longer. Because this it will kind of fade and damage. So I'm working on a embroidered patch, and so people have been asking for this patch, and so I'm going to have it made. And I will have it for you soon. So just so you know, it's on your radar. I am working on that project because several people have been asking me, Fernando, when can I get your patch? And so I'm working on it. All right, guys, thank you for joining me tonight and have a great night. And I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's video. God bless you guys. Be safe. I'm praying for you always and see you on the next one. Have a great night.